Hi, this is Nelson Zide from Nelson Presents. I am here to do a program for you while you are home and to try to help you for the future and becoming more productive in the real estate business. I do know how difficult it may be, but you know what? People are being productive all day, every day, even these days. So please, I hope you'll be able to enjoy this. And also, I'm only doing this in about a half-hour formats. I do know a lot of people are doing hours, 2 hours, all sorts of long programs. If you're like me, you have a hard time sitting there in front of your iPad, computer, iPhone, and watching something for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, without being able to get up and do something. So I decided to do a couple of programs on a more of a shorter variety that will give you a lot of good information right up front, right away, that you can practice and do immediately. So hopefully this will help you. Part of this program is called the 4 P's of Prospecting. 4 P's of Prospecting. Now I'm going to talk about prospecting because this is a great time to do your prospecting. If you are not out there prospecting today, when else are you going to prospect? You know, whenever I've talked about prospecting all around the country, people said, oh, I don't have time for it. Oh, I'm too busy. Oh, I'm showing houses. I'm listing. Oh, I'm so busy. Well, great. I am so glad you were so busy. But you know what? I still prospect 1 hour a day, 5 days a week today. I still do. And you know what? If you are doing that now, and I've been doing this for a long time, as you can tell, I'm not 25. My mind says I'm 25, my body says I'm 82. But I've been doing this for a long time and I'm still prospecting. Why? Because if you are not prospecting, you're not in business. You gotta prospect. And I have to tell you, whether you're older in the business, more experienced, I used to say to people when I'm talking and I'm speaking around the country, I used to say, well, how long have I been in the business? A year, 2 years, 30 days, 6 months. I said, if you've been in the business for more than 30 days, you're an old pro. If you've been less than 30 days, then you're a new baby. So I can tell you almost everybody can do prospecting. Now, when I first started in the business, a long, long time ago, no one told me how to prospect. Back then, my now mentor, back then mentor, still mentor, Floyd Wickman, he said cold calling was the key because no one else knew anybody. So you had to cold call. Well, guess what? I cold called. I hated it. So I know you're going to tell me, oh, Nelson, I'm not going to cold call. Please don't cold call. I hated cold calling. It is very difficult to do. The results get very little. It's not worth your time and effort. I will tell you a cute story. One of the very first trainers I ever had was a guy named Tommy Hopkins. If you've not heard of Tommy Hopkins, go Google him. His training program is on 78 RPMs. That also tells you how old I am. 78 RPMs. And he told a story. He used to prospect all the time. He was like about 5'2", small guy. He used to knock on doors in his farm area. And he knocked on one door, and he stepped back. You know, you knock on a door and you step back. Well, he did that, and the guy was like 6'2", 300 pounds, came out and started yelling and screaming at him. It was like, oh my God. Slammed the door in his face. Tommy, undeterred, decided to walk around to the back door, rang the doorbell, took a step back, and said, well, I hope this person is a little nicer than the person who answered the front door, and smiled. And the owner had the scowl, and all of a sudden he broke out laughing. It was so funny. Now, he didn't get any business, but they had a nice conversation. So, yeah, those are hard things to do. I mean, if you are geographically farming, which there are more and more people who are doing it these days, you're going to have to knock on doors. You have no choice. But that's not what we're going to talk about today, but that's geographically farming. I'm talking about farming your database. I am a huge fan of database, sphere of influence, prospecting. I have been that way for over 35 years. I know, I don't look like I've been in the business that long, but I've been doing this for over 35 years. Let me tell you how I started this way. Because you know what? Let me just say, people who you know always want to hear from you. Think about that. People who you know always want to chat with you, always want to speak with you, always want to find out what's happening with you so you can find out what's happening with them. They always do. And when I do this all around the country, people say, oh, I only have 10 people on my database. You mean you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s and all you know is 10 people in your life? Have you been sheltered for the first 25 years? That's S-H-E-L-T-E-R-E-D, sheltered. I mean, did you not go out? Did your parents hide you from the world? Were you homeschooled through high school and college and masters? I mean, come on. Everybody knows more than 10 or 15 people. Friends, relatives, people you work with, people your parents have worked with, people your brothers and sisters have worked with. We all know more. So I'm just letting you know that is a crock of baloney. That is not a good answer. We all know more, and all you have to do, and now's the time to do that. If you do not have a database sphere of influence right now as you hear this, this is the time to start working on it. Perfect opportunity. Perfect opportunity to start listing everybody you know. Friends, college classmates, high school classmates, friends of your brothers and sisters, friends of your parents, friends of your grandparents, all the local business people you know, the guy who does the deli, the guy who does the flower shop, the guy who does this, the guy who does that, your landscape. Everybody knows all these people. And you're going to tell me you can't put down a whole bunch of people? And there's always ways to find out how to get names, phone numbers. By the way, here's the key. Name, phone number, address, email. Name, phone number, address, email. If you have an email, you can email them. If you have a phone number, you can text them or call them. You know, always ways to get a hold of them. All of you folks out there know lots of people. The question is, you never had the time, you said to yourself, to actually sit down and work on the time frame that you need in order to work on your database. I know I'm going to be out of focus for a moment. I just needed a glass of water. Okay. This is the time to do so. Let me tell you how I started this. My very first year in the business. Then I really didn't know anybody. Matter of fact, my first broker, I asked him, what type of training do you have? He said, well, here's the desk, here's the phone, see you later, you are alone. That was it. I said, great, what the hell do I do? I don't know. So I answered the phone calls, and I didn't know what people were saying, but I talked to them. And guess what? I talked to people I knew because I was not from the area that I moved to, and I started real estate. I was born and raised and schooled in downtown Boston. I moved out to the suburbs when I married my wife because she wanted to be close to her folks. I didn't know anybody out here. There were wild Indians in my suburbs when I grew up in Boston. I mean, when I grew up, the big trip was to Chelsea, Massachusetts. And out of country was Providence, Rhode Island. I didn't know anybody. So I answered the phones. I talked to people I went to college with. I talked to my wife's friends. I talked to my parents' friends. I just talked to them. Lo and behold, my very first full year in real estate, I sold 20 houses. Now, it wasn't, back then, 20 houses was a lot of money. My average price was like $20,000. But the cost of living back then was a lot less too. But 20 houses was a lot of houses. And I didn't know anything how much I was doing. But I knew that. But I figured I had to keep in touch with these people. I didn't know how. So my wife, who's a fabulous baker, just fabulous, as you can tell if you can see my lovely physique, fabulous baker, even though I'm much thinner than I was before. I said, will you make all these lovely pastries? We'll box them, and I'm going to hand deliver 20 boxes of pastries. As a matter of fact, I was doing Popeyes before Brian Buffini was here and talked about Popeyes. And I popped by and I gave all these 20 people these wonderful boxes of cookies. They thanked me. It was a way to keep in touch with them. My second year, I sold about 22 houses. Made enough for me to survive. I said, honey, I need about 42 of your wonderful boxes of candies and pastries. She said, well, okay. She made them, she boxed them, I hand-delivered. Popeyes, hand-delivered 42 boxes of cookies, and every one of those people I knew. Every one of them. I didn't keep in touch with them much during the year because I was trying to, no one else told me how to do that, but I at least did that once a year. And I did it, by the way, on the anniversary of the sale. No one remembers the anniversary of when they closed on a house. So I did that. Third year, I sold about 25. I went to my lovely wife. I said, honey, I need about 65. She said, not on your life. I guess she got tired of doing this for me. Not on your life. So I had to find a way to keep in touch with my people. I found a company at a conference. By the way, as a segue, whenever you have a chance to go to a conference, whether your state conference, the National Association of Realtors conference, please go. Your franchise conference, go. NAR statistics, by the way, say agents who go to the national conference, state conference, franchise conference earn almost double what the regular agent does who doesn't go. Almost double. Hey, folks, why aren't you doing that? It's an amazing thing because you go, you network, you meet people, you meet vendors, you talk to people, you learn, you go to classes, you learn all sorts of stuff. You should be going. Okay? So you want to go. So whenever I've done this, I said, okay, I went to a conference. Someone told me to go. Guess what? I went. I found a company called The Personal Marketing Company. It's called TPMCO.com. TPMCO.com is their website. But it's called The Personal Marketing Company. I met a wonderful lady, Pam Lockie. I said, I need to stay in touch with my database. What do I do? She said, we have the solution. We have a newsletter program. I said, a newsletter program? Oh my God. What is this? Well, we write it. It's 4 pages. It's full color. Your picture and your pictures on the front page, and your contact info, and your contact information is on the back page. And we have it for you. We write it, we put it together, and we ship it to you, and then you mail it. I said, oh my God. How often can I do this? Once a month. I said, oh my God, this is fabulous. I mean, I can't write. I didn't have to do anything. All the pictures were done. I mean, how much simpler could this be? I started doing it. Now, I have to tell you, at that early stages, before they started mailing it out, there were times that I got delayed. So sometimes I had a couple months of boxes of newsletters. And then I had to do the addresses and peel and stick labels and bring them to the post office. Oh my goodness, it was a royal pain. But you know what? I did it because it was a way to keep in touch with my database. As time went on, I kept on adding and adding and adding to them. And they also started doing it that they will mail it, so I did not have to. They will send it out, so I don't have to. I said, oh my God, this is just an incredible program. I have been sending out these newsletters for over 35 years, ladies and gentlemen. It is by far my #1 prospecting tool to my database. This is everybody I know, everybody I meet, even other realtors. Why do I want to send other realtors? Why? Because if you are from Wisconsin or you're from Virginia and you don't know anybody, you know someone who's moving to Massachusetts, who do you know? I always ask that when I travel to speak. Well, we don't know anyone. I said, now you do. Hey, now you do. Here I am. Nelson side, here I am. So I sent them to other realtors. I have to tell you now, I have over 1,600 people on my database. It goes out every single month. Every month. It goes out. Yes, it is snail mail. I understand. Snail mail. And people say, no one does snail mail. Yes, they do. Even millennials do snail mail. The greatest generation does snail mail. The baby boomers, that's me, do snail mail. They may only look at it for 2 seconds, but you know, I don't care as long as they look at it and they see my smiling face. They They see it every month. My database sees it every month. So I am going to strongly suggest to you, during this time that we have available, if you do not have a database, this is the time to put it together. If you have a database, this is a time to go through it. Hey, if there are people on your database you do not know, delete. Delete. Guess what? If you don't know them, because you thought you knew them, but now you don't know them, they don't know you either. Delete. Why keep them on? Why keep them on? Delete. Now, I do know there are other trainers out there, and they say work with your A list or your A and B list, and that's really true too. There's a lot of good things about that. I want to work with everybody that I've met and I've done business with, because I don't know when the time's going to come that they are thinking of buying or selling, and then there's a better than average chance they're going to call me. Just last year, I had an old high school classmate of mine. I don't want to tell you when I graduated high school. And he called me out of the blue. And he said, "Hey, Nelson, it's Tom. Hey, Tom, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah." We chit-chatted. He said, "You know what? My sister passed away." I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know." He said, "I know, but I'm the executor of the estate. We need to sell the house. Can you come over and talk, and let's figure it out?" No problem. He was on my list. I didn't know, but he called. Why? Because he sees my smiling face every single month. I do it, people say I do it quarterly. I do it once every 2 months. No, 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 no. People forget you quickly. There's National Association of Realtors do surveys every year, over 5,000 buyers and sellers that they survey. One of the questions they ask is, were you happy with your realtor who you used when you bought or sold your home? 85–90% of those people say they were happy with their realtor. If this was their second or third or fourth whatever purchase or listing, they also asked, did you use the same realtor you used when you first bought or sold that home? What do you think the answers were? I get answers anywhere between 40, 20, 30. It's like 15%. And I say, "Oh my God, give me my Velcro. Oh my God, give me my Velcro." 15% used the same realtor they had used before, but they didn't use them this time. And you want to know what the number one reason why they didn't use them? They didn't know they were still alive. Didn't know. That old realtor listed them and left them. Sold them and sayonara them. Why? This is not a one-time business. If you want to be in real estate for a long time, then when you list to sell a property, those people are your clients for the rest of their lives and my life. And I don't care where they move to. I don't care what they are. I want them to call me, text me, email me. I want them not to forget Nelson. Why would I want them to forget? By the way, if you've been in this business a little bit, would you rather work with a brand new buyer or seller who doesn't know you? Or would you rather work with a referral from someone, or someone that you did business with, or someone that you did do business with? Who would you rather work with? Of course, someone who you did business with, or was referred to you by someone you did business with, because the chances are there's very little, if any, competition. You still got to do your same job. This is not cutting short anything. You still need to do your same job. But you know what? I'd much rather work with a lead or referral from someone I did business with, or someone who's referred to me by someone I did business with. I have a much better chance of getting that buyer or seller. This is where working with your database is so critical. So critical. I will also tell you, you may have to talk to them, but they do also have an email newsletter program. But what, they don't send it out, they don't email it. You have to use SurveyMonkey or Constant Contact or whoever, but they will charge you a small fee, and they will probably produce an email newsletter that then you can send out to your database. By the way, I do an email newsletter about on the 15th of the month, and a snail mail newsletter on the 1st of the month. 2 newsletters a month. By the way, they're different newsletters. They are different writings, different programs, different everything. If you're not sure about it, you can go on their website. Again, T as in Tom, P as in Peter, M as in Mary, O as in Over, C as in company, tpmco.com. And you can see they have like 10 or 12 different newsletters. Different ones for franchises, different ones for different lifestyles. Pick out the ones you like. It is so critical that your database gets this on a monthly basis, because that's where your prospecting should be, to your database. If you have 100, 200 people, start that way. If you don't have 100 people, this is a really good time to sit down and start listing everybody you know, in every capacity that you know, and start finding out their names, addresses, phone numbers, and email. And by the way, once you get all that, I'm going to give you some dialogues to call and add to how you talk to them, because people, more so today than ever before, want to talk to somebody. Not necessarily about business, by the way. They may want to talk business. You never know if they are ready to list or sell their property. But they want to talk to somebody, because they're not talking to many people out there. Why couldn't they talk to you? You were their friend. You were their business person. You had a good relationship with them. Why in the world won't you want to talk to them? I think it's so critical that you do so. So let me tell you about the first phone call. First phone call is going to be, hey, Tom, it's Nelson Zide. How you doing? How's everything? Hope everything is going well. You guys staying safe? Great. Making sure no health issues? Wonderful. By the way, I'm trying to update my database, so I want to make sure I have all the correct information, Tom. Tom, are you still married? Because you never know. And your significant other's name is Mary? Great. And you have how many kids? Oh, you have 1 child? Wonderful. Son, daughter, how old? Oh, they're like 10 years old? Does that mean they're in like about the 3rd grade, 4th grade? Oh, wonderful. What school do they go to, by the way? And by the way, every time I'm talking to them, I'm writing all this down. Or I'm inputting into my CRM system. You know, your contact management system, you want to put it in. I want to know names of kids. I want to know how old they are. I want to know significant others. I also want to know if they have any pets. Dogs or cats, pets, birds. If they have alligators, I'm in big trouble, because I won't go to their house. But dogs or cats, fine. Well, how many? You just never know. And just say, hey, thanks for chatting with me. I'm just updating everything. I have a nice newsletter. I'm going to add you on my mailing list. Okay? No one ever says no. And you know what? If they say no, fine. But you know what? No one ever does. And this is your cell phone. Best number to reach you at? Great. And start calling everybody you know. Everybody you know. Because they are, even business people. Because business people want referrals from you. Whether they're the takeout of the coffee shop, or the takeout of a florist, or the takeout of the landscaper, they all want business referrals from you. So find out how you can, meet with them, talk to them. That's the first phone call. Then I'm going to get them on my mailing list. I want the newsletter to go out. By the way, one nice thing about working with a personal marketing company, you always get a live person. Sometimes right now it's a little bit slow, but you always get a chance to talk to a live person. I've been working with Pam for over 30 years. She's my contact person. And you may get someone else there, but I love Pam. I've known Pam for a while. I know her kids. I know her grandkids. I have to tell you a cute story about Pam. Pam and I, my joke was that I'm her Boston lover. My wife knows. My wife is mad at her. It's okay. Don't get nervous. And I'm her. She's my Kansas City lover, and I'm a Boston lover. So I call her office. They say, hey, it's a personal marketing company. Can I help you? Pam Lockie there, please. They say, yes, who's calling? I said, well, tell her it's a Boston lover. So on the intercom, throughout the whole company, says, Pam, your Boston lover's on the phone. Everybody there laughs, picks up, Nelson, what are you talking about? So then she calls here, and she says, and my wife used to be an admin and used to answer the phone. And she'd call up and she'd say, was Nelson there? And my wife would say, well, who's calling, please? And she'd say, oh, it's Nelson's Kansas City lover, to my wife. And she'd say, and my wife would say, oh, Pam, it's Jody, how are you? And they all had a good laugh. But you know what? We laughed and enjoyed, and you were able to talk to live people. It's really amazing these days that you can actually talk to a live person. Now you can go online and do all this, order the newsletter. All they need is your database, and you just keep on adding it and adding it. You can delete. They take a credit card. You don't worry about it. And they do it all for you. They do it all. Now here's the key thing. When I said, are you actually prospecting your database in your sphere of influence? Now you have it set up. You've taken this time to set it up. You have everybody's names, addresses, phone numbers. So here's what I do. When I know I prospect 1 hour a day, 5 days a week. 1 hour a day, 5 days a week. I don't care what 5 days. It can be Saturdays and Sundays, Monday to Friday. Doesn't make a difference. I prospect 1 hour a day. I make my phone calls to my database. Okay? Spend a half hour before you set up on your daytimer system, whatever daytimer system you use. Set it up. Half hour before, go through your CRM, pick out 20, 25 people, because that's how many people you can actually call and talk to in an hour. 20, 25 max. Set it all up, have it in front of you. Close the door in your office. Close the door in your bedroom right now while you're making the phone calls, or your office at home. Close the door. Realtor at work. Put out a sign. Realtor at work. Hopefully your kids won't bother you. Start making the phone calls. Call them. Now here's the dialogue. And I'm going to give you a dialogue which will almost always get you some leads. And by the way, I'm a huge dialogue fan. Huge. You know, every good trainer that I know, I don't care who they are, have dialogues. I mean, the master of dialogues to me is Floyd Wickman. Master. He's my mentor. Master. You can go to YouTube and see a lot of Floyd Wickman. And he is master of dialogues. I learned a lot of my dialogues from him. I know my dialogues. Here's the one thing I have to tell you. Don't memorize anything. The problem is, you know your script. People on the other side haven't learned their script yet. And if you only know your script, and if they answer the way you want them to answer, then you know how to respond. If they answer something different, they didn't read their script. This is not a movie or a TV show where there's a script and they got to stay online. This is not it. You need to know your script, but not memorize it. So here's the script. Here's the dialogue. It's real simple. Well, we're going to role play together. Ring, ring. Hey, Mary, Nelson's IDRA Key Realty Services. How you doing, Mary? Oh, I'm doing wonderful, Nelson. How are you doing? Hey, I'm hunkery down. I'm hanging in there. Everyone's healthy. How about you? Your husband, Tom, he's doing okay. And your daughter, Sophie's doing all right. The dog is doing okay. Everyone's doing good. Wonderful. I am just so glad they're all doing well. By the way, did you get my newsletter the other day? Sidelight, segue. I make calls. You go on the newsletter list. I get my newsletter whenever it goes out, so I know when other people get it. Then I know that week I make the phone calls. That week I make the phone calls. I say, did you get my newsletter this week? Oh, yeah, I did. It was so nice. What did you like about it? I always ask. Did you have a chance to open it? Some say yes, some say no. Did you have a chance to open it? They say, oh, yeah. What did you like about it? Well, I like the article on closet organizing, because right now I have a lot of time on closet organizing. Oh, wonderful. And by the way, I make a note on my CRM. She likes organizing articles. Reason why I do that? Because now when I'm reading something, whether it's online or magazines or newspapers, and they have to do with organizing, I'm going to copy, paste, send it to her and say, hey, Mary, I saw this article about organizing. I thought you'd be interested. Put it on my CRM. One more touch. One more touch. One more touch. More touches, the better. More touches, the better. So then a lot of them say, I love the recipe. And I say, well, have you tried it yet? Oh, I haven't tried it yet. I've tried a bunch of them before. And were they good? She said, oh, they were wonderful. And I said, you didn't invite me over? You know I'm crushed. If you could see my lovely body, you could see that I like to eat. And it's a joke. But I use it, it's a joke. So I want to make this light conversation, not necessarily about real estate yet. Really important. If they say they haven't read it yet, I said, oh, I hope you have a chance to open it up. No problem. Now I ask the important questions. I ask, hey, Mary, can I ask you a favor? By the way, you always can ask people you know favors. Always, always, always. And almost always, they'll never refuse you. Hey, if they're busy in the middle of something, let them tell you. Okay? I also, as a segue to that, if they say, Nelson, I got to tell you what's happening to my son or my daughter or blah, blah, blah. You say, you know, Mary, I want to hear that. Except right now, I have promised myself to make 20 phone calls this hour, and I want to hear everything about your son, your daughter. I don't have time right now. I'm going to be done with these phone calls at 2 o'clock. Can I call you at 2:30, and I want to hear everything. We can talk all you want. Will you be available at 2:30? And if she says yes, I mark it down, 2:30, because I always save some time that afternoon, and I'm going to call her back. Make sure you call her back, because you know what? A lot of people don't call them back. You call them back, spend the time, hear about Mary, okay? Really, really important. I do that all the time. So I said, can I ask you a favor? Mary says, sure. Here's the only dialogue you need verbatim. The only dialogue you need verbatim. Mary, who do you know who? Who do you know who? And the end of that will be determined by their status in life. So they have a 10-year-old. So I may say, well, Mary, who do you know who is possibly thinking of upgrading to a bigger home for an expanding family? Or Mary, who do you know whose parents are thinking of downsizing to a smaller home or to an over 55 community? Or Mary, who do you know who is possibly thinking of college education? One question. I write down which question I ask. Once I ask the question, I shut up, wait for the answer. Now, the reason I say wait, because they can't say no to that question automatically. You know, if you ask someone, you know someone who wants to buy a home? No. You know someone who wants to sell a home? No. If I ask them, by the way, who do you know who is possibly thinking of upgrading to a bigger home, downsizing to a smaller home, whose kids are looking to buy their first home if they have kids who graduate college and are on their own? One question, one time. When you ask that question, shut up, wait for the answer, and guess what? They're going to think about that for 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Now, they may come back a lot of times, they do say, you know, I don't know anyone, Nelson. That's okay. They don't have to know anyone, but they had to think about it. And then I always say, well, by the way, Mary, if you do think of anyone, hey, give me a buzz. You know my number, 508-277-7794. Give me a buzz. Love you. I really enjoyed chatting with you. Stay safe. Have a good day. We'll speak to you later. Next call. You can do about 20 of those in an hour. 1 hour a day, that's all. Let me tell you what always happens. There's something called karma. Let me spell that for my Boston accent so people understand me. Karma. K-A-R-M-A. Karma. Karma means that the more phone calls I make out, invariably somebody who I'm not expecting calls me back. Invariably they call me back. And they're going to say, well, Nelson, you know, you spoke to me last month, 2 months ago. So this person, I got transferred, or this person, a good friend of mine, got transferred. And I know about him. I want to tell you about it. I said, great. What's the name and number? Can I give him a call? Sure. Can I use your name? Sure. Sure. S-U-R-E. Sure. My Boston accent. I've learned how to spell because of when I'm speaking, because of my Boston accent. Always invariably, if I make calls out, I get calls in. It's amazing how that happens. And I'm going to do about 20 of these, 25 of these a day. Okay? And people say, well, Nelson, I only have 100 people. Okay, so if I do 20 of them a day, 5 days a week, I can do my whole database in 1 month. I wait next month, I do it again. Maybe I have to skip a month to make the phone call, but I'm still going to call because I know if I call, I have a good chance that, one, people today want to talk to you. They want to know you're doing okay. They want to see what's happening. You know, and business is also being done. And who more better, I know that's not good English, but that's my Boston upbringing, who more better to talk to than people you know? I don't want to talk to a stranger these days. I know people want to help strangers, I understand. I want to talk to people who I know. I think that is vital. And now the newsletter program gives you that opportunity to talk to people that you know. And if you miss them once a month, and maybe 2 months before you call them, or 3, I have a large enough database. I have over 1,600 people. I can't call everybody every month. And I don't. But boy, they see my smiling face every month. And that's where karma comes in. They see it every month. I do not list them and leave them. I do not sell them and sayonara them. I make sure, S-U-R-E, they know, they see me, they know me, so I have a better chance of having them talk to me over the years as time goes by. Do I get them all? No. I never expect to get them all. But I do know I get more than my fair share. And I'd always much rather talk to someone who I've known, who I've met, somewhere along the line, who I've done business with, somewhere along the line. I want those people because those are the better people because they know how I work. They know how hard, H-A-R-D, I work for them. They know. So this is my idea right now for prospecting. I didn't have a chance to get into talking about expires and FSBOs, or even social media, which social media is very critical. But I thought for most people, this is critical. Yes, social media is so huge today. So huge. You know, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, huge. Our president only knows about Twitter. But social media is huge. And this is not a time for that. I like basics. Basics. Because real estate is a basics business. You have to do your social media. There's a lot more people who are much better gurus in social media than I am, but this is the basics. If you need some help with this, you can always call me at 508-277-7794. I'll always be more than happy to help you as often as I possibly can. Please be safe, good luck, and really try to grow your business and do your prospecting. Get the newsletters. Have a great day. I'll see you later.